I'm with Keita Turner of Keita Turner Design. She's a designer in New York City. Thank you very much for joining me,
Ellen.
Keita.
How are you?
Let's talk about your design aesthetic for someone who doesn't know you.
Okay, well, my design aesthetic is enduring, fashionably classic design. And what I mean by that is it's timeless, elegant. It can last forever. Like, I love doing spaces where you don't know if it was done in 1990 or 2020.
Wow.
You know, so I feel like I never want to be able to get tired of it.
Well, how did you get into the design world?
Well, how I got into the design world is I was originally a fashion designer, so I did that for a number of years. Some people don't know that. And the professions are kind of related, you know, in terms of production, in terms of like where you start dealing with lines and space and proportion and balance and all of that. But yeah, originally I started in the fashion industry in New York City. And then one day, I think I just became very tired of the cyclical nature of fashion. My mother, who was an interior designer and also happens to be an artist and a graphic designer, kind of delved into the interior world. So one day I was like, Mom, what are you doing? I love that. Wait, you get to work with individual clients and change their homes up, and then you move on to the next client. So I said, I think I like that as well. So then that's when I started to plan my exit from fashion. I worked with my mom for a bit, and then eventually I went out on my own.
Love it.
Thank you.
At the High Point Market, you worked on a project called Show House in a Showroom.
Yes.
Talk with us about the aesthetic that you brought here.
Well, for this particular project, I was assigned traditional, and I believe that is because a lot of my projects and my clients tend to veer towards the tradition and the transitional. Even though I do modern as well and contemporary, which for me, contemporary just means a new way of doing things. So anyway, so I was given traditional redefined. And this was, it spoke to my heart. I started, I would say, with the color palette. Anybody who kind of follows me or knows me knows that I love color. And I love to mix it in like a complex way. So I started with the color. I knew it was fall 2019. And I said, well, let me play with some warm autumn colors and throw in a bit of nature, the greens, the rust, the warm brandies and nutmeg colors. And that's where we started. And then the wallpaper. The wallpaper was, I worked with Tebow. They were kind enough to donate papers. And that was the jumping off part. The living space, the living room, it's actually one of my favorite spaces because yellow is my favorite color. It has always been my favorite color since childhood. And so that's how I started. And then it became mix master. I love to mix furnishing, mix periods, mix pieces, mix finishes, and mix fabrics and patterns and colors and textiles.
What do you think about technology and how to use that in a home today?
Okay, well, today, when it comes to technology, I think it's important, whether you have automated draperies, window coverings, I think that is a luxury. Not all of my clients ask for it, but I think to be able to walk into a room and push an iPad keypad or whatever type of automation you use and to say windows shut, or to even be on vacation and to be able to turn your lights on or turn them off, I think that is amazing. Or whether it be, whether you have a piece where the television comes up, or you have a smart TV where you can change your artwork from time to time. I think all of that is important, but one thing I do want to keep in mind, or have my clients keep in mind, is that as we go further and further into the digital age, and maybe robotic age, I think having tactile surfaces and still being able to appreciate the softness and the richness and of nature and of craftsmanship is still important.
Just one last question is, can you define luxury for you?
So luxury for me is being surrounded with the things that I love. So for myself, it's artwork. I went to art school. I went to Rhode Island School of Design originally, and I love being surrounded by, it doesn't have to be an expensive piece. It can be a piece I found at a thrift market, or it could be a piece that I found at an art fair or a local gallery. But a little bit of that, things that I pick up, whether it be something from replacements. I love vintage wares. I love knowing that it had a life before me. That is what I find luxurious. And just coming into my home and saying, this speaks to my heart, this represents me. That's luxury.